Hi folks, today we're going to be taking a look at how to set up multiple sets of audio, whether it's your headset, your microphone on different computers. We're talking about specifically a 2-PC setup for streaming and how to make it work seamlessly. We're really going to be talking about how to install and set up Voicemeeter Potato. It's a big one today. Let's go ahead and jump into our video. Hi folks, welcome to our YouTube channel. Here is where we take a look at anything we can, whether it's visual or audio or even brand, when it makes your stream look and sound as best as we can. I am your stream champ, The Argument Knock. Today we're going to be looking at Voicemeeter Potato, how to set it up, how to get it rolling, and man, it's quite a bit. So let's go straight to our Stream PC and talk about it. All right, so the very first thing you need to do is go ahead and get the software. Voicemeeter has quite a few things you can get. For the virtual audio cable, I might cover that in a different one. That really lets you take audio from a specific piece of software, such as Spotify, pull it from the main bunch, and make it its own independent sound virtually, if that makes sense. Voicemeeter, Banana, and Potato, which is what we're going to be covering today, VBand, and even the Spectralizer. They have quite a bit of stuff, and it's quite amazing. The Voicemeeter Banana is a little bit limited, but the Voicemeeter Potato is kind of like the huge version where they have multiple inputs. I highly recommend getting Potato because it will set you up for the long term because it has more inputs and more virtual inputs than the others. It is kind of a freeware situation where you can download it for free, try it, and even use it for free. If you want to give them a donation, it will prompt you every once in a while to do so. And then, yeah, why not? It's a really great piece of software. I suggest giving it a try for a little bit of time, and if something that you like, help out the developer because he put a lot of work into it, and they've done a really good job on the software, honestly, and it works amazing for so many applications. So I'll link down in the description where you can go ahead and download it. It's pretty simple. Go underneath Potato and then hit the download or install, run the install. It runs pretty well. It's a pretty simple setup, honestly. After you get the installation, I got OBS here in the background doing my recording. You'll get a channel setup that's similar to this. Probably going to be blinking in the top right, and we'll go through how to get all the basics set up for it as well. First thing I want to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to unhighlight all the channels, and this will turn off all of the routing because we're starting from like day one stuff. So the other thing you need to do is go underneath your default sound settings and let Voicemeeter Potato be basically your default sounds. So if you go underneath the bottom right where you have your voice meters, your voice inputs, your volume control, go ahead and right click there. It opens sound settings, and you can change it to whichever you want, but my recommendation is underneath the sound, instead of using your regular speakers, you're going to need to go to Voicemeeter Input, VB. There's a few different ones. There's UX, there's VIO 3. I like just the Input VB. That's going to set it up as the virtual input number 1 for us. And then inputs, this is like microphones. I like mine set up as the Voicemeeter UX. So if you have multiple microphones, you can kind of route them all to one, and it will make sense once you kind of see what's going on. All right. Now, this being my Stream PC, I don't really have a hardware input for it. Here's where you would select like your microphones. So like I have my podcaster here, so these are all microphone inputs. And then here up at the top right, these are all your outputs, speakers and headsets and such. So underneath A1, if you click, you should have your list of your headsets. I don't really have one hooked up to my Stream PC, but I'm just going to pick the NVIDIA high definition audio here. It should stop blinking, and then these things will populate. It has to have something in there for it to actually think and do, which makes sense in a way, but otherwise it won't work. That's all I'm going to really do on our Stream PC for now. I'm going to go into our gaming PC here and do something very similar. This is going to be a lot of back and forth, but it's important to know that you should probably map and take a look at what you have on each of your systems. How many microphone inputs are you going to use on this PC, and how many speakers or outputs or listening devices are going to use on this other PC? Which ones are you going to have turned on, and are they all going to be active? Is this one going to be active? Map them out and set it up to make as much sense as you can. So for me, what I've done is I have my Rode Podcaster set up for stream only. I have my headset set up so I can listen to both PCs at the same time, and also the headset on here can be set up for something like Discord. So my goal is to hear both computers seamlessly on one headset, and that's kind of what we're setting up for today. And similarly, we want to make sure that we're routing the audio from our gaming PC to the streaming PC, so things like our video games can be heard from our audience. That's kind of what our goal is. So my recommendation is to map one channel of audio at a time, because if you start mapping everything at the same time, it will get a little bit lost. So we haven't mapped anything yet. We'll just go ahead and go into our game PC, and we're just going to set up something similar. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to uncheck all of our routing. This is where all the routing is located down here. I'm going to unhighlight them all. And we're going to set up our headsets first. So we also need to do the same thing, setting up our default devices. Go underneath your sound inputs, go to open sound settings, and you need to change your output to one of the voice meters. We're going to use voice meter input VB, not UX, not VIO3, this one right here. And then underneath our input, I'm going to set that up as auxiliary. And that way it just kind of makes sense in my head. You can set it up however you want, but remember that your VIO is what we just established right here underneath virtual input, and your UX for microphones is going to be set up right here. That's kind of what I've set mine up for, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. So the very first thing we need to do is turn our headsets on so we can listen and sound and hear everything from our gaming PC. So we need to go underneath our hardware outputs. I'm going to set mine up as A1, and I'm going to find my headset or your speakers or whatever you're going to use to hear from, and I'm going to highlight that right there. And now we've just set up voice meter VIO in here. We're going to highlight A1 because that's what we just established it from as our headset. And we can test that because I can bring up like something like a, where are you at? Come on up. We have a little video. If you play it, you should be able to hear out of your headset, and I do. Great. I'm going to pause this and keep this kind of up, so because we might be testing audio a couple times back and forth. So again, A1 is your listening device. I just highlighted it underneath VIO. I established that over there. Follow step by step. You should be on the same page as me. I hope that's the case. The other thing we can do is set up our microphone on our headset, because we could use this potentially to record or make videos in our others. If you wanted to do that, you can do so underneath your hardware inputs. I'm not going to route it today, but I want to show you this. So underneath hardware inputs, if you just click, and you can bring in the microphone for that for whatever it's called. Mine's called headset microphone. And you can see as I'm talking into my other microphone that you'll get this little volume control in the bottom right. And if I set that to B2, because that's what we set up for, these are the virtual inputs. So it goes, here we have 1 through, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is B1, 2, 3. So if you set up as B2, this is the virtual input 2, and you can see down here underneath virtual, the second one, you get a little bit of volume from. It's still here in my microphone, even when it's over there. So we basically just established that this microphone is this computer's auxiliary, voice meter auxiliary. So that will work for it. If we have anything set up as a default device, it will pop it over. It's important to establish these sound parameters as your default devices for voice meter to actually work. And it's also been my experience as Windows does any sort of updating and all of a sudden your audio routing doesn't work at all, the very first thing I would do is go underneath your sound settings and make sure that these are still established as your defaults. And then any video game or device like Discord, as long as it's set to default device, it should pick these up because Windows establishes this as the default device. Cool. All right, let's go back over to our Stream PC. We're going to do something similar. So on our Stream PC, we're going to go ahead and route, I suppose, our desktop to A1, and that's going to be because we set it up underneath our sound settings. And we can even set up our podcaster microphone If you want to set that up or go underneath the hardware devices, you can actually label it here on the top. I kind of already did so. If you click in here, you select the podcaster. We know that it's actually a device because of the text below it. And then you can label it whatever you want by typing whatever it is over there on the top. And now you can see that I'm getting volume from the podcaster coming through. So I could even use this on my gaming rig's Discord if I wanted to. I'm just going to head and route it to B2 for now, just because I want to just make sure it's working. But again, it depends on how you want your audio to work. Make sense? All right. Okay, now the other thing we need to do is kind of establish that these audios are going to the other computer, and that's what VBAN is for. So up here in the top, you'll see where it says VBAN. You go ahead and click that guy open, and we have a list of incoming streams and outgoing streams. These are audio streams that are going over the network to my other computer or to different computers, and you can route them any way you want. One thing that's important to note is you have this IP address at the top. That's the local computer's address. Similar to the other computers, you'll have this another IP address on there. And if you want to route audio out, you need to know what that audio is going to be. So first thing we need to do is establish a bus. They already have A3 populated for me here, so I'm going to go ahead and use A3. So this is the desktop audio from the Stream PC. It's currently just going to this hardware that doesn't exist, but I do want to route it to A3, so I'm going to highlight A3. And that counts as that bus for us. So if we go underneath the VBAN and we turn on A3, that's that same thing. We do need to label the outgoing stream. You can keep it as stream 1, but I like to keep things labeled. So I'm going to say SPC, so I know that's my stream rig PC. Whatever you label it at, it's important to know because you need to. And then this is going to the IP address of the other computer, which is, I just happen to know what it is. If you don't know what your IP address is, just look right here at the other computer's VBAN and you'll see what it is. So not this computer, that should be going to the other computer. And lastly, we need to make sure that we turn the VBAN on. You'll see this blue VBAN here. And then if you get a green light, you kind of have an established, it's going, it's working. That's a good thing. All right, so we have A3, which is the audio coming from this PC. We can also test it. I'll have this little video over here of my ugly mug. If I play it and bring it in the background, you can see that we're getting audio here, and then that's getting routed to A3. So we should be good. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and we'll go over to the other computer, going to the game PC. I know this is complicated, but follow step by step and you can. And what we need to do is bring the other audio in via VBAN. So we're going to hit VBAN over here. We'll need to bring up the IP address for my other one, which I actually forgot it real fast. So I'm going to grab it. So we have an incoming audio. We need to label it exactly the same, SPC. And then that's coming from what IP address? That's coming from 192.168.0.105. Okay, again, turn your VBAN on. And if you get a green light over here, you should be good. You might see some errors flash over here. If you're constantly getting red lights, that means you might have some network instability. You might want to change your net quality around to see if that helps. You also might be getting audio looping, which means you have audio going into another audio source, which is competing. You'll hear it. You'll hear what I'm talking about. That's why it's important to route one audio at a time. So if you have no errors, you're good. You have green light chick, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. On the other computer, I'm going to play on the streaming computer, I'm going to play an audio. Oh, one thing we forgot is we need to tell it where to go. So over here in the in destination, we have it coming into number 2. So if you're counting across the potato here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then virtual 1, 2, 3. So we're having coming into 2, which is going to be this guy over here. And I've labeled this, you can right click, as my Stream PC audio. And if I play that video, I should get audio popping up here, which is good. So what we want to do with this audio? Well, what we want to do is really just listen to it on our headset. So I'm going to highlight A1 because we established that as our headset. And it works. Cool. All right, so I'm going to pause that video in the background. Cool. What else do we need to do? We need to bring all the audio over from the gaming rig over to the streaming rig so we can bring it into something like OBS so our chat can hear it, right? So we need to do something very similar to what we just did. We have all the audio set up in our gaming rig coming into our Voicemeeter VAIO. I'm going to highlight, I suppose, A3 again. We're going to go underneath VBAN. We're going to have an outgoing stream. We're going to change the source to A3. It's going to go, we're going to call this the game PC, so GPC, just because I want to establish, what it is. And it's going to go into 192.168.0.105. Enter. Should get a green light, means that it's active. And now we can bring this into the Voicemeeter Potato on the other computer. So let's go ahead and minimize this. And we're going back to our stream PC. Here we have our stream PC. We have our VBAN up. Now we need to have an incoming stream. It's going to be called our GPC, our gaming rig PC, whatever you named it. And it's going to be that same IP, 192.168.1.0.101. It has to be labeled what the other stream PC's IP address is. I got a couple flashing errors, but after half a second, it looks like it is going okay. Get a couple flashes. I'm a little worried about that. I'm hoping it's routed correctly. We'll see we'll give it a test here. Looking like it's just establishing itself. All right, so that was on A3, and we need to put it. Oh, I see why. Because it's in a destination where something else is already coming in. You can see that my podcaster is in A1. That's probably why I'm getting that error, because I'm currently talking into A1. So I'm going to make the destination go into number 2. Hopefully that fixed that. I'm still getting some flashes. Oh, there they subsided. Okay, cool. There was one more flash, made me worry. All right, so we should be getting audio now coming in from the stream PC over here. I'm going to go from the game PC into my stream PC and drop it in here. On my gaming rig PC, I'm just going to play a video real fast because I want to test the audio. And I got audio coming in now that I'm testing that video over there. And now what we need to do is kind of establish where it's going to go. Well, we need to pick it up so the OBS can actually run it. So I'm going to actually route it to B3, and that's going to use the VAIO 3 audio. So as I'm playing that audio, it will go into VAIO 3. Okay, now in OBS, anything we want to use should be established as actual devices. So the very first thing I did in OBS, if you go underneath File and go into your settings, a couple things you can do. It's going to take a half a second to load. Go into the audio side of things. You can have devices, desktop audio should be stay as default, audio 2 default. Microphone, you can set this as UX2 if you really wanted to, but I don't like to have my microphone in every scene. So be honest, I kind of disabled all these other ones because I don't want anything to be used. I did set up my monitoring device as my Voicemeeter input, my VAIO, my main one, because if I monitor a device, I want to hear it in my ears, and I hit apply. And the reason why I did that is mainly because I didn't really want my microphone to show up in every scene. Likewise, I didn't want my gaming rig audio to show up in every scene. So I kind of kept that separate. So everything on the streaming PC should already be heard from because it's set up as default. So if I play a video on YouTube, for example, just because I have it already set as default, it should be already heard on the stream PC. However, my gaming rig PC might not be because I only set it to that VAIO 3 option. So underneath sources, if you want to add those specific sources to the scene, you can do so. You just go underneath a new, so here's my scenes, here's my sources. I'm going to add a new audio input capture, and the VAIOs and stuff should, I'll just say V for our VM for Voicemeeter. They'll show up as selectable devices. So I set up my, I'm not going to do Voicemeeter UX because I already have this microphone currently set up for it, but if I wanted to put my microphone on UX into the scene, I can do that by highlighting this one and hitting OK. I'm not going to do that because you're going to hear me twice. It's going to sound really weird. But if I set up the Voicemeeter 3, VAIO3, right here, VAIO3 output, we've established in Voicemeeter that coming into the system, this is my gaming rig, my game PC audio. It came into input 2, and we send it to 3 because now it goes into that third one. We've already established that the sound coming in from Voicemeeter 3 is a gaming rig PC, and now we just turned it and put it into the scene. So now, if I go into my game PC and I play that audio, as far as visuals and audios and triggers, remember you can trigger. You should hear the same thing now because I can see it. You can have a. Okay, so I'm just paused it real fast. So you know the audio is actually picking up from OBS. So that's how you can take those inputs from Voicemeeter and bring it into OBS by highlighting them and bringing them in as individual audio sources. So each scene can have individual audio sources. Pretty awesome, huh? I think that one's going to kind of finish it for today's video. If you have any questions, let me know. You can always throw down a DM straight to me. I just want to show you how I set mine up so you can get audio routed from both PCs to my headset and from both PCs into your stream. And that's really all it is. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, a lot to digest, but I hope this helps. And I'll see you glitches in the next video. Which one is this? There's like 2 of them that could be. Oh yeah.
Noted. Oh, I just know people are just like, get me, and I'm just
That was awesome.